Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. So today's video is a wrap-up of all the books that I read this week for the week of April 23rd to April 29th. And I read a total of 3 books, and I am in the middle of one book. It's a buddy read that I'm doing with Sharon. It is Her Every Fear by Peter Swanson. This is a thriller. So we were reading the first half last week, and we're going to finish it off this week, coming up. And so the 3 books that I read. So the first one was Mrs. McGinty's Dead by Agatha Christie, and this is number 32 in the Hercule Poirot series. So the premise of this book, it's Mrs. McGinty. She's a local woman in the village, is found dead, and she was hit in the back of the head, and her lodger is suspected of the crime. So when Hercule Poirot comes in to investigate, he doesn't believe that the lodger had anything to do with it. So he decides to, he investigates it, and through the course of his investigation, there is a second death that happens. And we find out who did it and the reasons why. And actually how the Mrs. McGinty's death is connected to the second death that happens. And so I like this book. I gave it 4 wontons out of 5. I enjoyed it, and it's probably be my top 20. It's not an all-time favorite, but it was still very good. I really enjoyed it, and so that was the first book I read, and then the next one was Behind Her Eyes by Sarah Pinborough, and this is a thriller. And so the premise of this book, it centers around Louise, and she goes to this bar, I think it is, and she meets this man named David, and she's attracted to him. And so she doesn't realize it until the next day when she goes to start her new job, that this man David that she met the night before, that she's insanely attracted to, is her boss. And so the things that happen, and she becomes friends with his wife Adele, and he doesn't know it at first, like that they're actually friends, and it seems kind of, and then she starts an affair with David, and it seemed kind of odd that she would be having this affair while at the same time being friends with his wife. And things that start to happen where David he keeps really close tabs on Adele. He's constantly calling to check on her, to find out where she is, what she's doing all the time. Louise finds this a little bit suspicious, and we find out later on, like, David explains why he's so vigilant, so why he's constantly checking on Adele all the time. And the book takes a really strange turn. I mean, I gave this book 2 wontons out of 5. I found it. I mean, the point when David explains what is happening, like why he's doing what he's doing, I thought maybe this might actually be interesting now. But then towards the end of the book, it just went down from that. Things happened, and I was like, what just happened? What's going on here? I'm totally not understanding what's happening. It's like, what kind of ending is this? It makes absolutely no sense. I mean, unless I'm reading it wrong. Anybody that's read this before, you can explain to me what exactly is actually happening, because it was totally weird, and that I wasn't expecting the way it ended. It's like, I don't know. It was a very disappointing book for me. And I liked Insomnia, the previous book by this author that I read, and I was hoping to like this one, but unfortunately it let me down. And I mean, it could be something that be great for other people, but for me, the way it ended, the ending just totally dropped my ratings down, like way down for me. And the final book that I read, I just finished. It's To Brie or Not to Brie, and this is a cozy mystery, and it's number 4 in the Cheese Shop series by Avery Ames. And it's the main character is Charlotte, and she runs the Fromagerie Bisette, and this is a cheese shop that her grandparents owned and ran, but now she runs it along with her cousin Matthew, who is a sommelier. So they do a bit of the cheese and wine pairings. They sell both at this shop. And so we have the characters like we also meet up with Matthew's twin girls, Amy and Claire, and their mom Sylvie, who's back in town, and the grandparents, and we got Meredith as well, and a couple of other characters. Oh, and Jackie, I forgot to mention Charlotte's boyfriend Jordan, and we also have Jackie and her baby daughter Cecily. And so the main premise of this book, so Jackie's ex-husband comes into town, and she left him because he was very abusive and violent. So she left to get away from him, and he comes into town, and he's later found dead in an ice cream shop. And Jackie is automatically suspected because her husband, I think it's pronounced Giacomo. It's Giacomo. So I guess if you literally, it could be said as Giacomo, but I think it might be Giacomo. But anyway, he's found dead in an ice cream shop, and like I said, and he has a lot of money. So Jackie is suspected because she would be inheriting a lot of money, and plus she ran away from him to just because he was so abusive. So she could have just wanted to get rid of him so that her life would be easier and her child would be safe. And then so we have that thing going on, and then later on her Giacomo's brother Vinny comes into town, and he suspects Jackie because of all the money that she could inherit, and then he's later found dead. So Charlotte decides she wants to investigate because Jackie is important to her, is her boyfriend's sister. So she wants to figure out what's going on. And so this book I gave 3 wontons out of 5. The story was okay, but something major happens to the main character that I don't remember it being mentioned in the previous book. So when I read it in this one, I was a little bit surprised because I wasn't expecting it. So I think, when did this happen? So it brought the rating down a bit for me. So those were all the books that I read for this week, and it's for the final week of April. So the total number of books that I read were 13, and 7 of those were cozy mysteries, 4 were thrillers, 1 was a classic, and 1 was a fantasy. And so my star ratings, or my wonton ratings, I didn't give any books 5 wontons, but I gave 6 books 4 wontons, 6 books 3 wontons, and 1 book was 2 wontons. And in the formats, I read a total of 5 ebooks, and I listened to 8 audiobooks. So looks like this past month in April, I consumed more audiobooks than I did ebooks. And so this month I didn't have a top 5, but I had a top 4. And so those books were Wonton Terror. This is by Vivian Chen. This is a book from the Noodle Shop series. And that one I really enjoyed. I thought the story was great. I liked the mystery and the characters. They were all really, really good. And then my next one is A Tale of Two Kitties, and this is by Sophie Kelly. It's in the Magical Cats series. And again, this was a really good book. I find Owen and Hercules, they're too funny. They're a lot of fun, and their antics are always just really, really entertaining. And then the next book is The Overnight Guest, and this is by Heather Goodenkoff, a thriller. And this one, I really, really like this one. Once I figured out what was happening and how everything got connected, it was really, I found it really enjoyable to read. And then my fourth book that is in my top in the month is Mrs. McGinty's Dead, and this is by Agatha Christie, and this is part of the Hercule Poirot series. And I just read that this week, and again, this was, I liked the story, and the mystery was really good. The way the reveal was done was really well done as well. So how was your reading week? How did it go for you? If you'd like to post in the comments, please do so. So this is the end of this video, and the end of the this is the last vlog for the month of April. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and evening, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.